Hey guys, how's it going? Is your host, Mr. Blu-ray, back with the Mr. Blue podcast. And this one is a very, very special episode today because in the last year, I've always talked about I really wanted to talk about the specific Disney shows that me and my family used to watch way back in the day on Netflix, when Netflix was good and when it was in its prime. So, and oh man, just binge watching the first episode of Kicking It tonight, just you know what? This is the perfect opportunity for another podcast episode. So I'm going to be telling you guys about not every Disney Channel, Disney XD show that came out in the 2010s, but kind of more like the top four. And of course, there will be some references here and there. So see how this goes. Of course, I was against most of these shows because I was afraid that it wasn't going to live up to the old Disney Channel, right? You got your classics, you got Sweet Life, Hannah Montana, That's So Raven, Cory in the House, all those classics, right? But then of course, my family being my family at the time, they would do a marathon, binge watch each of these shows on Netflix, and they started to grow on me, guys. Oh my gosh. You already had the first two seasons of Good Luck Charlie, right? Oh man. I'm gonna be honest though. I'm gonna be honest about Good Luck Charlie. We'll get into this in a bit. For the first season, it was definitely a rough start, right? But throughout the show, I definitely related a lot with Gabe Duncan, Bradley Stephen Perry's character. Man, I think him and I are the same age, if I remembered correctly. Yeah, even with the Disney XD stuff, this was when Disney XD they were still starting out, right? They were still new, they were still fresh. There wasn't much to contribute. I believe there was more cartoons than there was live action stuff, but Kicking It was definitely one of the saviors of it, of course. I was aware of, oh my gosh, Pair of Kings, it just didn't click with me, But I understand it's some people's favorites, but it's just, I don't want to get into that, because I haven't seen the entirety of the show, but I have watched, some episodes, some bits and pieces of it, but anyways, so yeah, I'm gonna get started with Good Luck Charlie, that came out in 2010. Oh my gosh, this is the most relatable show in general ever. Sure, if you're not a fan of Disney, but if you're looking for a really good family show to watch, and if your family is what it's in the show, please watch it. Oh my gosh, and seeing Jason Dolly come back for Disney, how, again, we all know that the Disney Channel shows are canon to each other, right? Because the crossovers here and there, but Jason Dolly's character is a whole other case, PJ. Because, again, he comes from a Cory in the House, and he played a totally different character, right? And I'm thinking, wow, this dude is still pretty young, especially for 2010. How long did Cory in the House last? So yeah, I thought it was great as PJ. I was not on board with, what's her name, Bridget Mendler, who plays, Teddy, because the show, in a way, it's kind of playing out this is her show, but it's not her show. Sure, she makes the vlogs for Charlie, but it's not her show. Charlie is the main character, right? And again, you got Gabe Duncan, who's the troublemaker and the troubled kid, right? Because I guess you could consider him as the middle child, but he's definitely a troubled kid, but I could definitely relate a lot with it. Okay, you don't have to be a middle child in the family to to be like him, or it could happen at any age, whether you're the oldest, youngest, whatever, you can relate a lot to Gabe, and I definitely relate a lot with him more. I don't know, it's just, even in this show, guys, I think with him as Gabe, started to wear off. Just because, I like him more as Kaz in Mighty Med. Now, I know there's a lot of Good Luck Charlie fans out there, or offended right now. Like, I apologize. Like, they're like, how dare you? Like, that was like his best Disney role, and you had to say Mighty Matt. Like, guys, that is just my personal preference. I actually, you know, prefer him to be in a sci-fi show, but like, hey, like I said, nothing against him as Gabe. You know, I believe in season 4, throughout the whole season, at least, he started to change more, and that was pretty cool, right? Then again, he was, like, getting older and all that. Like, I honestly thought, guys, after season 4, I thought that the show was actually going to continue. You know, like, still continuing with Charlie and Toby, because it really left us in a cliffhanger, really, like, oh my gosh. Weren't there rumors for a sequel show to come out like this? Like, still continue the show, but have it as a sequel show. Like, I mean, I was hoping that this would be the most longest running Disney Channel show in the history of Disney, right? Like, wasn't there a sequel show going to be called, like, well, it's not going to be called Good Luck Toby, but it was still in the works, right? Again, I've heard rumors that they might have, like, workshopped it, like, oh my gosh, like, please, we need to see the cast, like, sure, if they can't get Jason Dooley and, Bridget in the show, like, at least, you know, again, focus, you know, on the last 3 kids, you know, Gabe, like, they also should have focused on him graduating, right? But then again, the show ended because, you know, Mighty Med, and yeah, I love that show. Oh my gosh, the Good Luck Charlie, again, it's just so relatable. Like, obviously this family is just your ordinary family. They're not special. They're not perfect. They all got their flaws, just like any other regular normal family, right? And man, Amy Duncan, you know, man, she's the mom that every mom wants to be. Like, no doubt. Like, oh my gosh. Every time, like, Amy Duncan does something cool or funny, me and my siblings, we always point out to our mom, like, that's what you do, Mom, or like something like that. Like, well, again, I'm sure when you guys are watching the show, maybe you pointed out to your parents, like, what the parents on that show are like what they reflect in your real life, everyday lives, right? So yeah, Bob Duncan, okay. It is no secret that Hollywood in general likes to turn the dads into big dum-dums. Even when they're the strongest types, like, they have to make them dum-dums. Like, okay, Hollywood, how many dumb dads have you seen in your personal lives? And are these, like, writers and executives and producers have personal experiences? Like, you know what? My dad was like this during my childhood. Let's turn him into this character. Like, oh my gosh. Like, yes, Bob was pretty dumb in the first 2 seasons, and then season 3, you know, that was when, like, he was working out, like, very seriously, like, oh my gosh, like, is he turning back to Thor? Again? If you guys don't know, he actually played Thor in one of the old, the old Bill Bixby Hulk movies. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah, he has changed a lot, but, like, I'm glad to still see to this day that he's still in shape, you know? Oh my gosh, like, after the show, like, oh man, they're starting to, you know, like, degrade the dumbness for Bob, right? Like, again, you start seeing that in, like, the second half of season 3, when Toby, like, after Toby was born, and then you got season 4, now, like, nowadays, like, in seasons 3 and 4, he just has a lot of funny moments now. Oh man. Yeah. The God of Thunder as a bug guy. Oh man. I still do not like Mrs. Dabney to this day, guys. She obviously plays that annoying neighbor, and just like, why does she even exist in the first place? I'm sure she's a fan favorite in the community, but it's just, I still don't like her, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some Fruit Loops out there in the comments gonna be like, "Oh, when you get older, you understand her pain." Like, sure, maybe, but that will not mean that she'll be like my favorite character, and she never will. Spencer in the show, Teddy's boyfriend. Man, I can't believe I forgot his name. I'm sure it'll come around, but like he is a Christian in real life, and that's pretty cool. And he's also a singer. He's in the God's Not Dead series. He appeared in the first one and number 3. I think I liked him more in the God's Not Dead series just because like he was more real into his element, right? Like of course, like when he played Spencer in the first season, he was a playboy, right? Like he was playing Teddy, right? And there were some parts of me like, yeah, like he messed her up at the same time, like, oh, dude, like what have you done? Like you totally deserved what you had coming. and, of course, in the second season, he was more of a douche to to Teddy. As much as I don't like Teddy, we can all admit that he was pretty much a douche. And I loved the ongoing inside joke in this, guys. Like, obviously, it's an adult joke, and hopefully you guys caught it because, as a kid, I had no right to know what this joke meant, but they said this a lot in season 2. They said clump nugget. Now, you never really hear that, but if you look up the meaning behind clump nugget, you're in for a treat. So if you hear me say that on the channel here, that's because, again, we're keeping it clean, right? So, oh man. I think season 3 was pretty good because, again, like, the birth of Toby and all that. Again, season 1 was pretty slow, wasn't really working for me. Season 2 was pretty mid, there wasn't really much going on. But that was when season 3, again, that was when, things got more interesting. And in season 1, when they did Charlie's first birthday, in the theme song, like, I watched these out of order. Like, I assumed and expected that they would show the origin story as the first episode, but no, they showed it on the birthday. Like, you know what? It makes sense, right? Because it's her first birthday, they get to talk about the origins of Charlie. Oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, we used to watch this show religiously. Hopefully, my sister, like, cause she has Disney Plus now too, hopefully she'll still play that for the family, I don't watch it as much as on my own anymore. It's just because, like, I used to watch it with the family, right? Maybe with a girlfriend, like, it would, fill in that void, I guess, like. But if I'm up for, watching the show in general, like, again, for nostalgic stuff, like points of views or whatever, then I'll watch it, So yeah, good luck, Charlie. What would I give this out of a 10? I want to say it's a 10 out of 10 because of the relatability, and it is, but I think for the sake of this, I'll just give it a solid 9 out of 10. Does that seem fair? Alright, next up. Ant Farm. Oh my gosh, I used to diss the crap out of this show too because, of course, to me, it didn't make no sense, right? Like, I was like, oh, what was that acronym for? But, they say in the first episode, was it Advanced Natural Talent Farm? Like, oh my gosh. Man. This show. And again, this was one of those shows that grew on me because, my sister, watched all the time too. Fletcher, he was definitely my favorite character in this show. Then again, when it came to Mighty Med, I liked more of the other character that the kid played in there. He played Oliver, right? Man, the show. I used to have a huge crush on Olive Doyle, just because, like, she was so funny, quirky, and cute. Like, oh my gosh. I did not like China that much. I thought she was pretty annoying, But of course, years later, I found out, well, I'm pretty sure she's been like this since she was acting as a child, but she is a Christian in real life. So, that's a bonus, I was very happy to hear when Disney Plus got to put Ant Farm onto their platform. Didn't they put it out in 2021 or something? I remember watching the trailer and only a couple of actors got to promote it. Oh my gosh. And the theme song. Yes, the theme song is so catchy. Oh man. Of course, you got Lexi and Paisley, the blondes, and as we all know, Hollywood loves to use stereotypes like Paisley because she's one of the blondes. She is the dumb one, the really dumb one, and Lexi, she calls herself pretty, but the show even acknowledges that she's dumb, and later on, she doesn't like to be called smart because she's really good at math, right? But hey, there's nothing wrong with being smart, right? Oh man, I believe it was at the end of season 2 was when they got transferred to another school, right? I believe they were sent samples of the Z phone, right? And ever since then, season 3. The final season, they got to stay in that, transfer school, which, by the way, Ant Farm ended off on a very short note. Again, one of the reasons was Mighty Mad, but also, it should have been renewed for one more season. I'm pretty sure Jake Short could have just, asked Disney if they could have just done one more season. I'm pretty sure all the cast and crew wanted to do one more season, right? Because normally when you have a big show, like Ant Farm, you gotta at least have 4 seasons, right? So what would I rate this show out of a 10? Probably a 6 or a 7 out of 10. Because there are a lot of cringy moments, guys, not gonna lie, but again, I love the show for what it is. Yeah, it's a pretty good show. Alright, next up, we're into the Disney XD realm. Kicking it. Alright. Like I said, I just binge watched the first episode of the series tonight, and guys, the most I can relate to this was when, oh my gosh, I hope I don't freaking cry, because this, this means so much to me. One time, let's see, December of 2012, we binge watched it, right? But this was also a time when my sister had her very first advent calendar, and this was when Lego Friends, the girls theme, it was year 1 for it. She got her very first advent calendar, and it was so fun helping her build the sets every day, and anytime, we had the advent calendar, we would always have this show on, oh my gosh. Oh, man. Jack Brewer, right? He's the man, I still want to be a lot like him, he's got the long hair, the mullet, every season he grows it longer, oh my gosh, dude, what kind of conditioner are you using? Oh man. And it never bothered me that he had 2 moles on his face, he had one on each face, but I don't know, that's just an irrelevant thing I want to put out there, an unpopular opinion, but if you guys feel the same way too, that's cool. Oh my gosh, Kim. My dad would always tease me about her, do you like her? And of course, me being, a boy, trying to, deflect my feelings, no, ew, that's gross, but, in secret, I did have a crush on her, I thought she was pretty cool. And, I'm just gonna say his last name for now until it comes to my head, Arias, his brother who played, his oldest brother, funnily, who played Rico in Hannah Montana. It's pretty funny because he's the youngest, but his older brother who played, Rico, sure, he's kind of a midget, but he's the oldest. Oh my gosh, they played a little joke in a segment that they did on Disney Channel. That was pretty funny. Milton, I've always been a big fan of Milton. Sure, again, with Disney, they're kind of breaking the stereotype. Obviously he's the nerd in the group, right? But, he's, the really cool nerd, right? And, they're always trying to up him more in the seasons. In season 4, like when he and Jack got to be secret agents, like I thought that was pretty cool. I will say a few of my problems with kicking it here in just a few moments here. You guys will probably know where I'm going with this. Okay, so Eddie, oh my gosh, this dude. Oh man, I've always supported him since the very beginning, but unfortunately, Disney decided to not bring him back for seasons 3 and 4. And I believe the big controversial debate is still going on, and I'm pretty much convinced about this. Disney is freaking racist, okay? They are racist to the kid. You know how Disney now, they're always trying to like, inclusivity, diversity, like, oh my gosh, like, until, like, they give him crap, like, oh my gosh, Disney, what the frick? What the frick? Why are you disrespecting my boy like that, huh? I'm pretty sure everyone can agree. Okay, he's not a supporting cast member, like, he's part of the main cast, and even in season 3 and 4, it was kind of like they rebooted the series. Like, they were ignoring and forgetting about Eddie's existence. Not one mention. I was hoping in the very last episode of season 4 that he would make a comeback. Like, yes, my boy Eddie would make a comeback, but no. Wasted opportunity, like, to give a chance to, like, get the original band back together, like, in 2011, but no. Disney pulled a fast one after season 2, like, Eddie's gone. Because he's black, he needs to be gone. Like, frick you, Disney. Oh, you have no idea what you just done. So, we need Eddie to come back, guys. Come on, back me up on this. We need to have Eddie come back. Like, I really don't care if it's for political reasons. Like, we need him back. I will not stop saying it until Disney listens to this and acknowledges our wishes to bring Eddie back. Okay. Now, Rudy. Okay, Jason Earls. Oh man, he's definitely a Disney Channel legend. You know, he has this condition where, you know, he still looks pretty young. Like, hey, doesn't bother me. You know, he was pretty old enough to play Jackson, Hannah Montana, so he's pretty good age to play Rudy. Oh my gosh, it was such a fun surprise for him to be in this show. Like, oh man, I would definitely want him to be my sensei. Like, come on. I don't know if it's fair for Rudy to have, like, a spin-off series like just him, like, maybe the origins of Rudy, or, like, well, I believe he turned down that offer in season 4, right, at the very end, like, he decided to stay at his dojo. Who knows, what else they could do with Rudy, like, oh my gosh. Yeah, Kicking It definitely needs to make a comeback, but, like I said, please bring back Eddie. He's what really, like, makes the group, right? Well, everybody does, right? Not just Eddie exclusively, but, like, he definitely you know, contributes to the team, you know, like, oh my gosh, like, seriously, everybody counts. Everybody counts. I really do like in season 1 where it's pretty much the running joke with Jack and Kim, where, you know, like, you know, as the fans, as the general audience, we want them to kiss or hold hands or, you know, just be together, but it's been an ongoing joke. I don't remember in season 2 if it was, well, I guess they were kind of working on it. And then season 3 was when things got serious, you know. And after when Kim had to go away because Olivia Holt was doing another Disney show at the time, but she did make a few like cameos or appearances in the last season. Oh man. So what would I rate this show out of a 10? Obviously with this one, I cannot give it a 10 out of 10 because you guys heard my reasons and they're pretty good, reasonable, solid reasons. 5 out of 10. That's just my honest opinion. If you say 10 out of 10, I don't know what's wrong with you guys. But please be on board with me. We need Eddie back. Okay, now the last show I'm going to bring up, and again, probably going to bring up some other references. Lab Rats. This is the ultimate Disney XD show. If you would have asked me years ago what would have been the ultimate Disney XD show was, honestly, no diss to this because I've been binge watching it a lot. Crash and Bernstein, you know? Because again, just like with Kicking It, like Lab Rats, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Because again, I was afraid like, oh man, am I going to like this show more than the classics? And to be quite honest with you guys, I actually do like some of these shows better than the classics. Oh man, I don't know how to feel about that, you know? I'm pretty sure everybody feels like that when they try to get into something new. Because again, this is the 2010s and, you know, we all need something else to watch. You know, they weren't going to do reruns of our favorite shows forever. Like that's one of our dreams, but I believe this show, okay, yeah, this show came out 2012, right? But the first season came out a year after. Okay, so I don't think my family started watching this until like 2 years after 2014, because that was when it really clicked with me. Because again, this was another one of those Disney shows where they kept watching it so many times, and I believe the first 2 seasons were out, and I was just like, oh, what the heck? This is a good show. And then on the internet, I understand why. For any Lab Rats fans out there, I understand why you guys love the crap out of this show because it is so good. Like, it's not really your stereotypical Disney show in general. Like, no, they put their all into this. And you could definitely tell with the special effects, like, they were upping their game. And like, honestly, guys, if this show would have come on ABC, this would have been TV 14. And you know what? On Disney XD, I would still rate it TV 14 because, man, the acting, the choreography, the special effects, like, oh my gosh, guys, like, if you haven't checked out Lab Rats, please go watch it, okay? Please. Oh my gosh. Like, Billy Unger, Hal Sparks, you know, everybody else, oh my gosh. Like, Chase Davenport is still my all-time favorite character from the show. You know, I've seen Billy Unger in a lot of stuff when, you know, he was still a kid actor, right? Oh, man. This is when, like, this is the ultimate role for Chase. And if Lab Rats were to make a comeback, which I'm hoping they do, they should make a theatrical PG-13 release. Can we all agree on that? Seriously, every season kept getting better and better. No joke. No joke, guys. This show was pretty much the biggest deal in our family that we watched. Like, oh my gosh. Man. Kelly Berglund, who played, you know, Brie, like, oh my gosh. She is so hot. But for some stupid reason, guys, because, you know, the internet being internet, they've been making stupid fan fictions of both Bree and Chase because, guys, you forget Adam, Bree, and Chase are siblings, and you're shipping Chase and Bree? Ew, this isn't Star Wars the original trilogy again. Like, do you guys prefer incest? If these guys weren't siblings, then maybe, yeah, it could work, but no, that just doesn't work. Oh my gosh, you people are disgusting. make me sick. What the frick? And of course, Adam. Remember earlier when I mentioned in Go Like Charlie, like how Bob, you know, he became the more buff one, right? But again, Hollywood likes to treat their buff characters stupid. They treated Adam really stupid. Just because, like, he was the strong one. Like, oh my gosh. Can we please have a movie or TV show that doesn't involve, you know, like, the strongest person in the room to be the dumb one? Like, strong people can do a lot of freaking things, okay? Like, don't assume that, oh my gosh, Hollywood, you oh man. You're really gonna blow a gasket into me one of these days. Like, oh my gosh. Adam is alright. Like, he does have his moments here and there. But at the end of the day, he's just really dumb. And of course, pretty much got the main star of the show, Leo Dooley, you know? Oh man. It was pretty cool that his oldest brother made an appearance in the first season, you know? And of course, you guys probably know, like, his older brother was in that dumb movie Lemonade Mouth. I saw it. It was pretty dumb. Like I said. Yeah, definitely not the best work. Yeah, I remember when I first started watching the show, I did not like Leo Dooley just because I thought he was annoying. But now the roles are kind of reversed. Like, in recent years, like, when I started rewatching Lab Rats, like, remember, when Disney Plus came out, guys, after I watched Mandalorian, I was all over these old Disney shows. I started to appreciate Leo Dooley more, and I started to dislike his mom, Tasha, you know, more and more, just because even she is ridiculous, you know? But then again, she does have some of her moments. Now, Hal Sparks as Donald Davenport. He is a comedian. I don't know if he's a retired one. And he did make a guest appearance in Spider-Man 2. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up the theatrical version and the extended cut version of Spider-Man 2. Oh, man. It rides up in the crotch a bit, too. that should kick your guys' memory. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I liked him a lot more when I started watching the show, but, like, you know, with his ego in the show, like, oh my gosh, he's always like, oh, me, money, 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 I'm so rich. But, you know, I do like those soft, tender moments when it comes down to his family, like, he's always like, I just want to make sure you guys get home safe and all that. And guys, it was pretty much a big deal for Leo to get bionic abilities, like in season 3. Like, again, I love how each season keeps building up and anticipating, like, each season. Like, season 1, you know, it was a good start, you know, like, sure, it started out as, like the average Disney shows where, like, they don't necessarily have a plot, but, like, in the last couple episodes, Marcus, that they introduce, he's actually, I want to say Ninjago, but no, that's Ninjago. Man, imagine that crossover. Lab Rats and Ninjago. He's an android. And what we found out in the second season is, of course, like, he was working for Donald's youngest brother, Douglas, which I appreciated more. Like, he is just so cool. Like, whether you have him as a villain, a good guy, an anti-hero, an anti-villain, like, man, oh my gosh, he steals every scene. Like, I want to be best friends with him, right? Principal Perry, oh my gosh. She is so annoying. I don't know if she's more annoying than Mrs. Dabney. She probably might be more annoying as Mrs. Dabney, and especially what the actress is like in real life. Yeah. Also points to, like, not like her at all in characters and in real life. Yuck. That woman makes me sick. This show can do fine without Principal Perry, okay? I believe, yeah, season 2 was when things were starting to get more serious with the plot, right? Because, you know, Marcus and Douglas. I really like that golden transformer wannabe in season 2. Like, I honestly thought, like, I'm pretty sure Disney wanted to keep upping the budget with this show. Man. And season 3 was when things started to get more dangerous because there was a bigger threat, right? Their identities are revealed to the world. As usual, the government in any form of media whatsoever, like, they assume, like, oh, because they're superpower people, they're dangerous and they need to be controlled. It was a shame that the old lab got blown up at the end of season 2, but, the new lab, it's pretty cool going forward, but it's just, it can never beat the first one. I liked how, oh my gosh, Disney, you should have acknowledged this, like, Chase's electro bow staff, it's basically a lightsaber. You could have added lightsaber effects, Oh man, like, that would make Chase, like, part Jedi, right? I just love how, like, the kids, they kept getting bionic upgrades. And again, how Leo got his bionics was that the main villain, I forget what was his name. Was his name Crane? I thought he was, like, a perfect but really annoying villain for seasons 3 and 4. He brought, like, a piece of debris on Leo's leg just to, like, distract the team members. So Douglas, what does he do? He uses his smarts and put in bionics. No way. No. Oh my gosh, I got this totally wrong, guys. I am so sorry. It's been a while since I've seen the show. Okay, first, Leo's arm. His from our point of view, his right arm gets busted, and then he has bionics. And then in season 4, that was when his left leg gets busted, and then that gets bionic. So, Leo is pretty much, I guess you could say maybe 25% bionics, like, in season 3 going on to season 4, and then when he got the leg, like, he's 50% bionics. It was pretty nice of him to join the team. Like, even I was on board with him, like, yes, please let Leo be on the team, even if he doesn't have bionics. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, man. And Bionic Island, like, that was when they kind of renamed the title at the end of season 3. And then season 4, they kept calling it that. But I think, honestly, guys, again, this is just my personal preference and opinion. I think the best part about this show, what happened, and again, specifically in season 4, was when Lab Rats and Mighty Med crossover. Like, oh my gosh. I would not stop watching this crossover. I used to watch it all the time on Netflix. If you buy, like, the full version on YouTube, whether you buy on Lab Rats or Mighty Med, it's going to be, like, the full 45-minute special, but, like, oh my gosh. And, Lab Rats ended early 2016, but the show came back for a revival for Lab Rats Elite Force. Sure, I like the show for, like, the biggest crossover, because I don't think it's been done in TV history, as far as my knowledge goes, but, like, honestly, it can never beat the original Lab Rats, how they established those characters and all that. Like, Elite Force gave a chance for some of the Mighty Med characters to, actually the original 3 main cast members, to, like, have a more darker, edgier side. And honestly, I honestly think we could have gotten a shorter 3rd season of Mighty Med where they just take it more seriously and just show, like, the destruction of Mighty Med, Yeah. I remember when Marcus came back for season 4, literally, I was like to my mom, Mom, Marcus is back. Oh my gosh, yeah, he's just such a prick. I don't care what you guys say, Marcus is a prick. He is not a good villain. He's just like a side villain, really, like, that doesn't really contribute much to the plot. Like, obviously his predecessors did such a much better job. Okay, so some of the other Disney Channel or Disney XD shows I'll bring up. I brought up a couple of them. You got freaking Shake It Up, Jessie. I mentioned Pair of Kings. I just don't like those shows. Those are the pretty annoying ones. Every time I keep looking up, like, the Pair of Kings scenario, like, what happened to Mitchell Musso, like, oh, something happened in his personal life, so they had to replace him in, season 2? And Shake It Up, oh my gosh. Frickin' hate Zendaya, frickin' hate Bella Thorne, everybody. And, of course, Jesse, Ugh. You got Debbie Ryan from Sweet Life on Deck, which, that's another show I don't like. And she became more annoying, and the kids became annoying. Like, oh my gosh, and this theme song was so bad. I didn't even like it. I did not even like it when Ultimate Spider-Man crossed over with Jesse. Like, are you mean to tell me that Jesse and company are canon to the Marvel cartoon TV side of things? Or, well, you can tell it's a one-off, so, like, no. I'm here to confirm, you guys, that's not true. They are not canon. They just wanted to do that for the Halloween special. But they did have the voice actors and actresses to reprise their roles. And of course, they made that stupid sequel show to Jesse Was Bunked, and it was still worse. Oh, man. Sometimes when I had no other choice when I was bored, like, when my sister put those shows on, like, okay, might as well just watch something. I watched every episode of both Jesse and Bunked. Oh my gosh, nothing helped. Nothing helped, and I really hope that Disney will never bring those characters back. And Shake It Up, I believe that got 3 seasons, like, ha! Poor excuse. I mean, Bella Thorne is even worse in person now. Like, I really do hope she does not come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe as Lady Deadpool, whatever they're doing for Deadpool 3. Yeah. Have I missed any other Disney shows? Well, of course, there's Austin and Ally. I had no idea what that show was like, but, like, that show is also dumb. I did enjoy Dog with a Blog. That one was pretty cool. And, of course, Crash and Bernstein. How can you not like Crash and Bernstein, guys? That's like the ultimate dude show to watch with your buddies. And of course, you gotta love Star Wars Rebels. I thought that was the one that was like the savior of Disney XD, but like, not even close. As much as I, hate to admit it. Like, oh, because it's Star Wars, it's like, it trumps everything else. Like, this one, not even close. You got Lab Rats to thank. This was a video I pretty much want to talk about, and this is going on pretty long here, was because, well, I guess I should have expected it to be like this, because, again, I just want to talk about my personal love and experiences with these main 4 shows that came out in the 2010s, and I'm happy to say that I'm still a fan of all of these to this day. If you're on the same boat as me when these shows came out, I totally understand. I'm not expecting you guys to like every single one of them, not even watch every single one of them. But here's the thing, I've mentioned this a couple times. If you diss Lab Rats even once, we're going to tell you to shut up, okay? Because the show is that good. You can diss Principal Perry, but don't diss the show, okay? Man. Alright, again, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the next episode of the podcast. Thanks so much. May the Lord be with you guys. Always love you guys. Peace out, guys. And hopefully you guys are having a great night. All right. Good luck to you guys. All right. Good night, guys.